In episode 2, the next day, Davy goes into school and shows both Eleanor and Fab the DM, and Eleanor's conclusion is, you're so popular now that you actually have trolls. As she looks around the room, she realizes that, yeah, the nerd herd that she used to be a part of is now looking down on her. So Davy decides to respond to this person saying, I think I know my boyfriend better than you. Hit the bricks, hater. But then she gets a response right back that says, I'm not a hater, and I definitely know Paxton. I actually used to be you. And now, Davy isn't so sure that this person is a hater. She goes and shows Paxton, but his question is, why are you writing back to them? I mean, whenever anyone sends me rude DMs about you, I just delete them. And while Davy wants to go down that road further, she decides it's probably best she doesn't, and ends up agreeing with Paxton. Yeah, I probably should just ignore these. As Davy is promising Paxton that she won't communicate with the troll, Anissa is over inviting both Eleanor and Fab to her game on Thursday. It's a big one. It's the district championships, and she's a really good player, so she kind of just wants some support. Eleanor can't make it. She'll actually be at a rival soccer event doing some research for the Ted Lasso production that the school is putting on. She's playing Keeley. And if you need a Ted Lasso, I'll just stop there. You can look on the page. Fab is definitely in, but the big surprise is Ben might not be there. And his excuse is the fact they have a huge chem test on Friday, and he needs to study for it. The fact that a kid that has A's throughout the board can't just set aside 2 hours to cheer on his girlfriend, Anissa's a little hurt by it. She tries to play it off like it's not a big deal, but it is. When the girls meet up later that day for lunch, Eleanor really wants to engage with this troll again, but Davy's staying steadfast that, no, I promised Paxton I wouldn't, so we're not doing it. Eleanor then shows Ben the DMs because she has access to Davy's Instagram, and Ben agrees with Eleanor. They need to respond to this hater. With access to Davy's Instagram account, there's nothing really she can do about it. Davy ends up giving in and responding to the person, at least tell me how you were me. They respond with, we're both good girls who got involved with Paxton because we assumed he was perfect. I've loved him since grade school, too. And Ben says, all right, she just outed herself. There are 4 elementary schools that feed into this high school. Paxton went to East Elementary. We just have to whittle down the girls that he's been with from East Elementary. So using Lady Whistleboy's help, they narrow it down to 4 people. Head cheerleader Jenny Smith, TikTok hair influencer Taylor Yu, hottest person in orchestra Haley Garcia, and then Zoe Maytag. And the truth is she doesn't really want to pursue this, but curiosity is getting to her. She decides to table it until she gets home that day. And at dinner, Davy's grandmother is doing something very surprising. She's talking to Kamala. That's because Davy's mom had a conversation with her saying, you gotta forgive Kamala. She's not marrying Prashant, you just gotta get over it. And what it boils down to is, Davy's grandmother is really concerned that Kamala will wake up one day husbandless and friendless, just like Davy's mom. Davy's mom takes a little bit of offense to that because she thinks she has friends, but the reality is she really doesn't. So Davy's grandmother had a lot of time to think about it, and she does need to forgive Kamala. The way she's going to do that is by throwing a mixer the next night. This way they can get her a new fiance really fast, and the people back home won't know there's any difference. Kamala doesn't want to go through with this, but she also doesn't have a choice. Before this big mixer, Davy has school, and when she gets there, Eleanor has some intel that it's not Zoe. But Paxton walks up, interrupting the conversation, and gives Davy the extra Chips Ahoy that he got from the vending machine. That's all Davy needed. For her, that's enough. She doesn't want to pursue this anymore. She knows he's a good person. Davy DMs the person back saying, stop trying to ruin my relationship. And this mystery person responds with, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help. You've already gone through so much. Losing a parent during WC is enough heart attack for one lifetime. And that's when Davy realizes she knows who this person is. Because there's only one person out of the group of 4 girls who would know what WC was. WC was the song that the orchestra was playing the moment that Davy's dad died. No popular girl would be caught dead at an orchestra event, except Haley Garcia, the hottest girl in orchestra. So Davy confronts her. And Haley fesses up to it, apologizes for it, but says, her and Paxton used to be best friends. She's known his entire family since 5th grade. She's even gone to their church events. Last summer, they were kind of messing around, but one thing led to another, and they started hooking up. Next thing you know, she had sex with him, but when she got to school the next day, he iced her out. Haley doesn't want that for Davy. So now at least Davy has the full story of what happened. She walks back into the school, but she's stopped by Mr. Kulkarni because he wants to know what the deal with Kamala is. She stopped texting him back. And Davy tells him that Kamala called things off with her almost fiance, and now her grandmother is throwing her a mixer that night to find her a new one. It's at 7 p.m. Davey then walks off, going to class with plans on hanging out with Paxton later that day and confronting him about the Haley situation. But there is a little jealousy festering amongst Davey Vishakumar. It's not Davey being jealous of Haley, it's actually Anissa being jealous of Davey. Lately, she's noticed the way that Ben and Davey are talking, and she's worried that her boyfriend is still infatuated with Davey. So while Davey was talking to Mr. K, Anissa is talking to Ben, making sure that he's still into her. And he says, yeah, no, I definitely am. And I'll 1,000% be at your soccer game. I don't know what I was thinking. So for the time being, Ben and Anissa are doing well. But Davey and Paxton, that's a little bit different. Davey confronts Paxton about the Haley situation, and he's kind of annoyed that she continued to talk to this, quote, troll, even though she said that she wouldn't. But he admits, yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, I didn't mean to be mean, but I just panicked. I didn't know how to deal, so I avoided her. I was a dick back then, but I wouldn't do that to somebody now. Davey believes him, but she also thinks that he needs to apologize to Haley, and Paxton is completely against that. The two get into a fight where Davey says, if you can't apologize, then I don't know if I can be with you. She gets her stuff and she heads home, where the mixer of the century is going on. Davey's grandmother has invited all of the most eligible bachelors from Temple, but the guy who's got Kamala's attention is Mr. K. He showed up uninvited, and when the grandmother finds out about this, she is not happy, especially when she finds out that Mr. K is way more Americanized than the others. He basically doesn't know any of the traditions. When he says that he doesn't speak any Indian languages, the grandmother gasps and then falls onto the couch. It looks like there's a medical emergency, and Davey's mom goes to call 911, but a woman named Raya, who's about the same age as Nalini, she also tries to help out. She's a nutritionist, but she doesn't really consider herself a medical professional because that deals with profit. She wants to help people. Nalini kind of looks down on this. So when Raya jumps to help out, Nalini kind of says, we're good. But Raya's persistent and says, let me just try this out. And if it doesn't work in 30 seconds, we'll call an ambulance. But her homeopathic concoction ends up working great. With her grandmother just coming to, Kamala decides to call an end to this mixer. But she does tell Mr. K, we can go out again if you want. With everybody gone, Kamala tells her grandmother, I might have found somebody. Davey's teacher asked me on a date. But Kamala's grandmother is completely against it. The way she looks at it, that guy looks Indian, but he has the soul of Seth Rogen and none of the charm. No. So she seemingly has pissed off her grandmother once again. Luckily, or maybe not, Davey missed all the action. She gets home, is lying in her bed, and then all of a sudden, Paxton comes through her window. It's amazing because 2 seasons ago, this is what she dreamed of, but now it's different. He tells her, though, that he's had some time to think about it, and he will apologize to Haley. He realizes he was in the wrong, and he's got to make it right. The next day, with Davey behind him, Paxton walks up to Haley and starts apologizing. But once another girl overhears this, she wants an apology too because Paxton screwed her over. Next thing you know, Paxton Hall Yoshida is apologizing to every girl in the cafeteria. Not exactly what Davey had in mind, but it is a good thing of Paxton to do. Word quickly gets around the school because of Lady Whistleboy, and it reaches the phone of Ben, who is sitting there watching Anissa's soccer game. But as he's texting Davey about how amazing it is that she got Paxton to do this, he's completely missing Anissa scoring the game-winning goal for the team, sending her team to states. And when Anissa looks up in the stand and sees everybody cheering but Ben, whose face is buried in his phone, she knows who he's texting. And it's depressing as hell for her. She puts on a strong face about it. She doesn't confront him at all, but when she gets in the bathroom, she starts crying her eyes out. She just wants someone to appreciate her. It turns out that somebody is Fab. Because Fab comes out of a stall and starts telling Anissa what a great job she did and how amazing she is. And then Anissa, out of nowhere, kisses her. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.